Welcome to Minding Your Business, the ProMontreal Entrepreneurs podcast, a program of Federation CJA. I'm Dan Laxer.
Hi, and for Catherine Korakakis, I'm Jody Toledano. I'm the Program Manager of Network Mobilization and Disability Inclusion.
Which means what? What do you do at Federation CJA?
So I wear two hats. I work in the capacity as a grants officer, where I help to support our impact partners as they go through their yearly allocation cycle. And when I got this position, they ended up marrying two positions so that I was also supporting the disability inclusion portfolio. And my work as a grants officer helps me to get to know our impact partners better and be able to better support them with different kinds of initiatives that we do during the year around disability inclusion.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you on the podcast, Minding Your Business. What we do here is we introduce you to the founder or founders of business startups, some who found their way through PME, plus words of business wisdom from the program's various mentors.
And in today's episode, we're going to introduce you to the executive director of an organization, or rather maybe a business is probably the better way to put it, that you may already know about. And you're certainly going to hear a lot about it that's coming up. That is Maya Cooper from the JEM Workshop.
But before that, Jody, as you well know, February was JDIM, or JEM, which is Jewish Disability Awareness, Acceptance, and Inclusion Month. Can you expand a little more about that?
I sure can. It's always a mouthful. So JEM is an initiative that started about 15 years ago, North America, and it's actually gone beyond. We see it in Israel as well. Federation CJ, we've been celebrating this this is our 8th year, and we take the month to really focus on creating awareness about disability and people with diverse abilities in our community. And we try to showcase our partners. We offer microgrants that allow organizations to be able to run initiatives that they may not otherwise have been able to do. And in general, we're really trying to bring awareness, and one of our goals is to start to move things beyond the month of February so that we've got more going on. And this year we've got some exciting things that are happening in the month of March and the month of April, and we'll be moving beyond there as well.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you, Jody. We are calling this episode The Value of Employment for All, and the reason why will become evident in a few minutes. JEM Workshop is a business that caters to other businesses. It's a company that I saw on the website has been around for more than 75 years.
Yep. 2025 was our 75th anniversary, so we're already into year 76.
That's awesome. That is the voice, by the way, of Executive Director Maya Cooper, JEM Workshop Executive Director Maya Cooper, who is in Studio 5 with us. Welcome to Minding Your Business.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here with us today, Maya. We're really happy to see you. So can you tell us the story of JEM? And maybe let us know a little bit about how did it begin, and tell us a little bit about the founding of JEM.
Sure. So 1950, a few years after Jewish Vocational Services was founded, the organization that was there to receive and help place many, many, many Jewish refugees coming from Eastern Europe post-war, there was a movement in our community, mostly by parents and families and loved ones of adults with different challenges, with disabilities, who were not able to find work in what we today refer to as competitive industry and sort of everyday jobs. They were very marginalized, and there was a movement to find a way to help them to get work, to be recognized as contributing members of society. And this movement started around 1950, 8 to 10 people in the basement of the Herzl, and sort of the rest is history. It grew and it grew and it grew, and those who founded JEM also were not only identifying people who could benefit from this organization or this service, this program at the time, also went out to seek jobs and to seek contracts to encourage business owners to take a chance and bring business and work opportunities to this group of individuals who were employed at the time what was then known as the JVS Workshop.
Yeah.
It was actually a program of the JVS. Now it's a self-standing organization, a self-standing company. But those were sort of the early days of JEM.
Was it a group of people that started it, or an individual? Like, would these be names that would still be known in the community?
I don't have that information offhand.
Okay.
Of course, it makes me think that I should probably do a little more research. I bet it's in the community archives. What I can tell you is that it was a combination of people, I guess, who wore the hats of both being business and community leaders, and also loved ones of people who were not, I guess, getting a fair chance in workplaces.
Well, let's talk a bit more about that, because I think, at this stage in the history, people know JEM. But what do we need to know about the people who work there? I mean, we have a vis-a-vis what people think they know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that question, because it gives me the opportunity to share with you and anybody listening that we have almost 100. Well, we're 120 employees, of which about 100 live with a disability or some kind of a functional limitation. And we are talking about these colleagues of mine are exceptional individuals who have so many abilities. We often talk about abilities rather than disabilities. And what I think I want everybody to know is that it's not because you have some kind of a limitation that you can't work and contribute back to society. Don't forget that every one of us who works pays taxes, and once we're paying taxes, we're feeding the economy. If we're working and we're earning, we have a certain amount of independence, and independence also is to spend the money that we earn. So yes, we spend it on rent and food and some of the basic needs, but we also spend it on more frivolous things, and on trips, and on clothing, and on nights out, and we feed into the economy, and it's good for business for everybody to be working.
Mm-hmm. And what you're talking about is like top to bottom. There are people in logistics, people at reception, people in quality control.
At JEM, actually, it is very top to bottom today. It wasn't always. We certainly started as, a basic packaging company, doing basic, envelope stuffing and labeling, and maybe getting a little bit more complex, learning how to use some basic machinery that had some risk to it, though not the most dangerous machinery. And we stayed like that for many, many, many years. I mean, decades. And then a few years ago, actually, COVID, I think, was the impetus for us to really rethink the model. A lot changed in those years. And there was a point at which we kind of understood that everybody has the opportunity to get a promotion, to explore different avenues of work, to learn different competencies. And who were we? Who is JEM? Who is any employer to say, well, this is the job you're going to do, and you're going to do it for the next 40 years sitting at that table. And if you have dreams of doing something else, they can't happen here. Why? If I have an opportunity to get a promotion, and you have an opportunity to get a promotion or develop a new skill set or be invested in terms of professional development, why wouldn't anybody? And so we started to look at it differently. Today at JEM, about 30% of our workforce with a disability works in what we call non-traditional jobs. So the traditional jobs being sitting at the table doing sort of basic packaging work and some simple machinery. So today, more than 30% of our workforce is in reception, marketing, HR, accounting, in leadership roles, in shipping. We have people who have certifications to operate the forklift. We have people who are handling very confidential and sensitive information. We have colleagues of mine who are at the front door. They're the first faces you see at JEM, and they are the ultimate greeters. So everybody has a role now, or not everybody, but we're working towards making sure that everybody has a role that fits their interests, their skill sets, and their dreams of growth and evolution as a working person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the questions, you talk a lot about the changes that have been happening at JEM over the years, and I really see there's been a paradigm shift. And I wonder if you could maybe tell us a little bit about some of the other business offerings that you're starting to see at JEM.
Sure, I'd love to. When we talk about a paradigm shift, and I touched on it when I talked a little bit about this notion that the employee, a JEM employee, we are all JEM employees, is at the heart of what we do. We wouldn't exist if there weren't folks who have who have been marginalized, who don't have great opportunities to work in the competitive industry, because competitive industry doesn't always adapt itself to an individual employee's needs. That's what makes JEM really interesting, really special, and that's what gives us the certification of being an entreprise adaptée. We talk about the way in which we adapt the jobs to satisfy people's abilities. That's one part of the paradigm shift, and that's really at the core of our mission. And also, we are a business, as Dan said earlier, we're a business serving businesses. What does that mean? That means that the other audience that relies heavily on us, and the other audience that we speak to and service, is the business world. So we have business partners in construction, in pharma, in cosmetics, in food distribution, in marketing and promotion, and it's a long list. And these are companies who rely on JEM services in order to satisfy their customers' needs. I'll give you an example. We have a customer whose products are on Costco shelves and the shelves of Walmart and Pharmaprix and Jean Coutu. So household names in terms of the companies that any of us, or the businesses that any of us frequent on a daily basis. They have requirements. They have packaging requirements or labeling requirements or heat sealing requirements for their product. They send it to JEM. We do that work. And then they have the items that we've handled and helped manufacture sent out, and they appear on the shelves of the stores that you and I go to. Mm-hmm. The shift that we're trying to really make in terms of the paradigm shift is that we are looking to businesses to understand that they're not doing us a favor by hiring us to do their work. Yes, we want to work with and partner with businesses that are socially minded. We want them to want to do good with their business. And also, we want them to partner with us. We want them to see that they're not doing us a favor by hiring us. Well, they may be. Really, we are doing them a favor just as much in helping them achieve their business goals. Mm-hmm, so it's really about this partnership. It's really about changing the narrative. Once upon a time, from what I understand, before I arrived, I've been there for just over 5 years, we tended to, go to community members and say, can you give us some business? Can you help fill our sales pipeline a little bit? And what do you got? And they would, some of them would legitimately want to partner with us, and others would just want to kind of throw us a bone. Here, I have this. Why don't you do this? And give me a good price. Whereas today, we're saying to companies, we're here to tell you how we can help you meet your business goals. Tell us what you need, and we're going to tell you how we can help you get there. Mm-hmm. So there's a shift in that language and in that tone. We're not apologetic anymore. Please do us a favor. We're a charity. Throw us a bone. Instead, it's very forward-leaning. It's very confident. It's very business-minded. I think that's the paradigm shift. And we do have sort of two major goals. The core mission being the social mission, employment for all. Right. And then the secondary, really equally important mission is to help businesses achieve their own business objectives.
So to what extent, because I think that's a great way of looking at it, and it was a great way to shift things, to what extent do JEM's, let's say, clients and partners turn around and become ambassadors? You say, you know what, this outfit does great work, and which helps you in turn bring in more partners, more clients.
Right. So we have 6 very strong values that we live by, and one of them is excellence. And so, and the other one of the other ones is innovation. I'll tell you the others later. I'll keep you on the edge of your seat. But as it relates to business, the idea is to be able to work towards always having excellent outputs, excellent quality, always having these discussions with our, I don't like to call them customers, they're partners. Yeah. About how to meet our collective goals. There is not one company that we work with who isn't fully in line and mission aligned with JEM. Furthermore, we often have them calling us and telling us that some of the work that we've done for them is the best work they've had, and they've shopped around. You can be sure they shop around. Everyone has bottom lines they have to meet, right? They want the best cost, they want the best turnaround, they want the best customer service, they want the best product. And so far, for the most part, we've been able to tick all of those boxes. And so we've actually had some who've left us thinking that they could, maybe go a different route and maybe get a better price. And more often than not, they come back. And they come back because while it was a little bit cheaper elsewhere, the product quality wasn't as good. The customer service was not nearly as good. It's one of the things we pride ourselves on. And the turnaround time, you name it. So we're always looking to improve. We're always looking to get that kind of feedback. We're far from perfect. So if we err somewhere, we want to have that feedback from our customers so that we can do better. We now have a colleague who's working in a role of continuous improvement, and this has become sort of an intentional role and a thread throughout everything we do at JEM. It's not just with our production. It's not just the outputs of what my colleagues in the factory are doing. It's everything we do. It's the way in which we engage in our human resources practices. It's the way in which we engage with the public through our marketing and communications and the way we promote ourselves, the face we put out there. Again, not perfect, but always improving.
There's a reason why it's been around for 75 years.
I think so. I think so.
Ever changing, and now seriously having a competitive edge, which is remarkable.
I like to think so. I think we like to think so. And of course, I would say that if ever that's not the case, one of the things we hope very much is that anybody who sees JEM and doesn't have that perfect experience with us for whatever reason will give us that feedback so that we can actually make those adjustments in real time. That's really important for us as well.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the reasons that we're talking about JEM in this episode is that, as Dan and I were talking about, February celebrates Jewish Disability Month, Jewish Disability Awareness, Acceptance, and Inclusion Month. And how does that impact JEM? How does that matter to you?
So one of the ways it impacts us is that February is very busy for us, you can imagine. All the schools, all the synagogue groups, all of the businesses who are aware of this being an important time in our calendar are knocking down our doors for visits. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. We're busy, but it's a great thing, and we make lots of time in February to be able to open our doors to anybody and everybody who wants to come in. We recognize that we have a role as ambassadors to promote the value, most definitely, of disability employment, because that's our sort of niche area. We also recognize that we have a role to play in promoting the value of people who live with disabilities in our community. Our community is richer because everybody is so different. Our community is all the better for it because there are people, all different kinds of people who we engage with and who we support. February is important for us because it provides a platform to promote, for sure, JEM, and also our ecosystem, if I could consider it as an ecosystem of supports and programs for people who live with disabilities, challenges, limitations, abilities, as I said earlier, right?
Yeah, diverse ability is one of the terms that we've learned from you.
Exactly. Yeah. I often use these terms interchangeably. Thank you for reminding me that I should be using diverse abilities, because it really is a celebration of the positive as opposed to anything that limits us. So yes, February is important for that reason. I would argue, though, and I'm sure you would too, in the role that you have, Jody, it can't just be a February discussion. Mm-hmm. It has to really be something that we weave into our awareness all year long. There's a problem if it just lives in a very finite time, right? We want the community to understand in their, if I could say, this is a Jewish podcast, right? So in their kishkas, we want people to understand at the most profound levels that if a person has a disability, they are as valuable to their community as a person who doesn't have a disability. In fact, all of us live with something, whether it's an invisible limitation or not, whether we are of the most, functional elite, if I could say it that way, all of us have something. All of us have something that sometimes creates a barrier for us to function on a daily. All of us struggle with the world around us and how to navigate that at any given time in our lives. So to be aware of that, to be sensitive to it, and to understand that nobody's better than anybody else helps us to drive this mission forward. And then I go back again to your question about why is February, why is JEM important? Listen, as long as people are not constantly thinking about and aware of the need to be open to and supportive of persons with diverse abilities, we need a month like February. I just would love to see it spill into the rest of the year.
Same.
Well, I think it's important to point out that JEM predates the JEM, as we call it. As you're pointing out, we all have the same kind of challenges. And likewise, the flip side of the coin is the employees, the staff at JEM. They still have to deal with the pressure of providing the services, of the excellence, et cetera. And, so we all kind of understand that.
If you'll allow me, I want to go back to something you asked me earlier, and I want to maybe unpack it a bit more. The notion of our workplace and the paradigm shift also that you raised earlier, Jody, the shift is also happening internally. So whereas employees were, punched in the morning, I'm talking back in the day. They would come in, they would punch in the morning, they would have a place to go, they would enjoy the time that they were working. Sometimes the work was easier, sometimes it was a bit more challenging. There were people to coach them and support them throughout the day. They had lunch, they had social moments, and then they went home, punched out at the end of the day. Today, yes, that still happens. And there's another layer to it today. Today, we talk more frequently and more transparently with all of our colleagues about who the customer is, what the goal is, what are we trying to achieve, what's the quota we're trying to hit in a day, to motivate people, for everyone to understand how important their role is in accomplishing the objectives of the day. We have customers who we invite in. I mentioned earlier, we kind of have our doors open to anybody who wants to come in, but we often will invite especially a new customer. My colleague, Lauren Sabloff, who takes care of, among other things, business development, one of the first things that she asks potential prospective new customers is, come in and see JEM. Come in and walk through this place so you can understand, deep inside of you, what this place is all about, and how seriously we take the business we want to do with you, and how our entire workforce is committed to helping you reach your goals. So somebody walks through JEM, yes, they're filled, their hearts are full, they get to talk to employees, we will see ourselves doing different work, taking on different contracts. And then when somebody comes in and visits, maybe after they've done a contract with us, we can say, oh, hey, everybody, we'd like you to meet Anita. This is Anita. You know that job that we were doing where we were packaging these beautiful gift baskets? That's Brands. We were working with Anita, and this is Anita's company. And then Anita's walking through and thanking people, and our customers are saying, oh, we love that. Send us more. That's my favorite job. And it's so genuine. And so there's a deeper connection that we make with our business partners around the work that we take on for them and in service of them. It becomes a very full circle moment for us in terms of the way we engage with our customers and our partners. And then the other piece is that our employees, who for the longest time, going back to 1950 when JEM was founded, were beneficiaries. They were beneficiaries of a social service that the community was offering them. You weren't able to work, so we're going to find a way to help you keep busy and help you realize your ability to contribute back to society. And now we've elevated that so that they are no longer beneficiaries; they're actually contributors.
Yes.
When they can say to a customer, when an employee can tour the customer around the company. Not me as the director or my colleague Lauren as the business development lead, but the employees who are doing the work are walking through the factory with customers, are introducing customers to their colleagues and are saying, this is the work we do. Hey, so-and-so, Anita's here. Oh, hey, Anita, we love this work. And then Anita is engaging with and understanding, in a meaningful way, how their work is really important to us. We understand that we are contributing now to their success, and everybody owns that. It's It's a really feel-good way to do business.
And what you see, whether it's a physical visit in person or whether it's, you go to the website, the employees are fiercely proud.
Very,
Yeah.
very. In fact, the head of our production, Mitch, will often come in on the weekend after he gets the publi sack at home, and he'll hold up the Pharmaprix flyer, and he'll say, "Look, we've been published," right? Because one of the products that we handled is on sale at Pharmaprix
That's
or at
awesome.
Jean Coutu, or when somebody walks into one of these stores, Walmart, and sees we package a product called Quimica, and Belinda, the head of the company of Belmonda, will send us pictures, or we'll send her pictures to say, "Hey, standing next to her product on the store shelves, or watching people buy it at the cash." These are very proud moments for all of us.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
meaningful.
Yeah, it sure is.
And you know what? That's a great place to end it. Maya Cooper, Executive Director of JEM Workshop. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me and for the opportunity to talk about JEM. Really appreciate it.
It's great. Thanks a lot.
And that brings us to the point of the podcast where, as we do every episode, we bring you a bit of business wisdom from a PME mentor.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Tarrant of Zara Cafe. We are a nonprofit food production business where neurodivergent adults gain meaningful employment and build life skills. If you're building a social enterprise, you want to be sure that both your bottom line and your mission are at the heart of every decision that you make. If a decision that you and your team make strengthens both, then you're on the right track.
For more information on PME or any other Federation CJA programs, follow us on social at ProMontrealEntrepreneurs.org or at Federation CJA. Minding Your Business is a production of Federation CJA. Executive producers are Glenn J. Nashin and Catherine Korakakis. Technical production by Daniel Moskovich. The Minding Your Business podcast. Subscribe, download, listen, and share wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Dan Laxer.
And I'm Jody Toledano.
Minding Your Business, ProMontreal Entrepreneurs, bringing ideas to life.